So the reason why I was able to stay within my place as a child and also speak as an individual to my parents and, speak truth to power is because I had the courage to. Sometimes my parents, they'll be like, I didn't do that with my mom. I didn't do that with my dad. Okay, you didn't. You definitely didn't, but I am. And I will, and I'll keep on doing it because it needs to be done. That's how you break generational curses. But the thing about breaking generational curses, sometimes we view this so separately from the rest of the people that didn't break the chains quite the same as you have or you will. The chains are still being broken, and they too are breaking chains. As I broke various chains, as I created a higher sense of awareness with not only my doing, the help of God. I'll never sit there and be like, bitch, it's just all me. Like all me for real. No, it's a higher influence than just my physical being that goes into breaking these generational curses. But nonetheless, when I'm breaking these curses, I too am affording the opportunity to my mother, because what I'm doing, she's now looking at it and she's strengthened by that. What I'm doing, she's, furthermore improving her behavior, if that makes any sense. And then so on and so forth. My grandmother, the relationship that I share with her, it softens a part of her that furthermore heals an aspect of her childhood or an aspect of trauma that she may have experienced in her life that prevented her from being the mother that she could have been, or prevented her from being the wife that she could have been, or prevented her from being the individual that she could have been. But I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from, because I am speaking so, I wouldn't say manically, but I'm speaking so passionately. But it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes down to breaking generational curses, sometimes we have this perception that it's just that one person, that only one person can break those chains. But when those chains are broken, it's a chain reaction. It's not just the chains that you're breaking that are shackling you, that could burden you, but you're relieving the burden of others when you start calling truth to power. When you start being honest with your mom and you telling her the truth. When you start being honest with your dad and you're telling him the truth about himself, telling your mom the truth about herself, it then makes them evaluate themselves. And as you're honest with yourself, of course, that alleviates the burden that you are to bear, or that you would have, bore if you would have continued in that same pattern as the previous generations. So, yeah, I think what I really wanted to expand upon is, my parents, they may have this perception like, oh, I would have never done that. I never did this. You didn't, but I am, and I did. And why did I do that? That's something that maybe even they question. It's like, how can this kid be so wise? How can this kid be so strong? Because I had the courage to. I had the courage. The courage. Y'all, the courage. Do you hear me? And I'm not trying to even be all preachy and like, this don't go over y'all head. But like, that's when I just realized that today. That's why it's so high energy right now. But have the courage.